Hey everyone, Lex Levinrad over here, and I'm with my student John Samopoulos.
Hello everybody.
Kind of hard to pronounce. John's from Greece originally. Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about your background?
Okay, I came in the United States in about 1985. I was 19. I went to university, graduated with an aviation degree and a computer science degree. And after that, I got a job in 1990. And since then, I was in the IT field. I was director of computer services for a big university until 2008. At the end of 2008, I decided to move back to Greece with my wife, and I invested all of my money in Greece.
In what?
I had a restaurant and I had a nightclub.
Mm-hmm.
Everything was going fine until the economy started deteriorating in Greece. And
that was in what year?
2011.
Okay.
And by 2012, we had to shut everything down, pretty much lost all our investments, and decided to come back
to the US.
To the US. I had done very little real estate in the 2000s, so I knew how good it was. So I was tempted if I should go back to IT or not. Of course, the peer pressure and family pressure was like, you have to make money, you have to survive. But I have a good wife, so she supported me.
Your wife was working at the time?
She was not working, but she was in Greece. So I came back first trying to make sure what we're gonna do, because now we're starting from zero. Mm-hmm. We're living off family in Greece, and we have practically my only thing left in the United States was my apartment that I had. So I decided not to go back into my field, because my field had a ceiling. I would make that much money, and that was it.
And that field was IT?
IT.
Okay.
I figured, you know, let me hold on. She's my wife supporting me. Let me go back and try real estate.
So basically, your wife supporting you, let's go give us a real estate thing at 12.
Yeah, and the agreement is, okay, you're going to support, you're going to get a job, you're going to support the family, but you're going to let me do it 100%, but you're not going to interact me. If it doesn't work right away, which is not, you're not going to tell me we get a job, because...
Okay, and if you're watching this, guys, I don't necessarily recommend you do that with your spouses.
Right.
Okay.
So that was the best thing, that I had the support. So I was looking, you know, where to start. Should I do? I had some friends that they were in the real estate business before that. I had moved, so I didn't have anybody to connect with.
So now you were living now in South Florida?
Yeah, I was living in Hallandale.
So how did you get involved in real estate to begin with, like when you were in Hallandale?
Originally, I did some apartments back in the 2000s through a friend of mine that he was a realtor, and he introduced me to it. We lived in the same buildings. He passed away before I came back to the States, so he was kind of my mentor and teaching me a few things back then. When I came back in the States, he wasn't, unfortunately, he was not alive. So a few other people that I knew, they had moved out of state. So I was looking at ways, how do I connect now? How do I start back into real estate?
And this is what year, 2000?
2014.
2014, okay.
So I didn't have much success on finding nothing was correct for me. Nothing clicked, so I could, you know, jump onto it. So I think
was that because you hadn't found me yet?
Exactly. So it was around 2015 that I was looking online, and that's when I went on Meetup looking for real estate.
And you saw a real estate investment club.
And that's when I got into, although it was far from me, with my little experience, I could separate what everybody's trying to sell. And I figured, you know, both guys are right, I'll drive half an hour. And that's how I came to your first meeting. And I liked it. It wasn't commercial. It wasn't like I've been to some other ones and I didn't like them. So that's what it attracted me, that this guy is for real. He's doing it.
What did you like about our real estate investment club meeting?
That first of all, that you're doing it yourself and it was real. It's not like you're trying to sell me something that you're not doing it, only theory. And it was not very commercial. Like, you want to sell this, you want to sell that. And so
gotcha.
that was very important for me. And then I heard about, you're talking about on our first meeting about wholesaling. I never heard about it. So in the moment it was like confusing me. Wholesaling, how do they wholesale houses or real estate? So I came actually, I brought a friend of mine on that first meeting, and he was convincing. So we came on the second meeting the month after that, and then you had the camp.
The boot camp.
The boot camp was, I think, a month and a half away from that, and we decided to.
That was the wholesaling boot camp, right?
And that's how we decided to register for it, and we did that.
Okay.
And then we decided to do private coaching because we liked it, and that's how it started. The first camp was in May, if I recall.
Yeah. Now I remember when you started, and I remember you came to the first boot camp, that you had a little bit of trouble. Like in the first 5 or 6 months, you had a kind of a hard time getting everything to get together.
Right. I think the pricing was one thing that I was overbidding on some of the sites, on the websites. I would offer too much money, and then when I get a property, it wasn't be worth.
Couldn't sell it.
Couldn't sell it. It wasn't worth.
Because it wasn't cheap enough.
Yes. And I remember you told me that was in August. That was in July, and you told me, since you're overbidding and you don't appraise things the correct way, why don't you go get your real estate license? You told me.
And I recommend that to everyone all the time. Yeah.
And I recommend it too. Back then I said, you know what, I'll take a month and just do that. And I started August 1st, and by the 30th I had finished class.
So just 30 days and you're done your classes already?
I took my class, and then a week later, I did the crash test that do on class, the cram test, and then 2 days later I took the exam and I got my license. 2 weeks after that, I even did my post license, and everything was out of the way, and that gave me a boost. Then I could go into the MLS. And I could see realistic more what is happening.
So now, because you had the license, you had access to the MLS. You could search the MLS for properties.
Right, and see, I got a better feel of what the real prices are, what things are selling. Just instead of looking just on Realtor, now I could go into behind the scenes and see more things, history of what sold and things like that. And then it happened in October. I got my first wholesale.
So tell me a little bit about that. I mean, for somebody who's watching this who's never flipped a house before, where did you find it? How did you find it?
I found it on Hubzu, one of the sites that we're practicing actually in class.
So that's hubzu.com if you're watching, right?
Right. And I couldn't believe it.
Now, when you bid, did you bid and put your real estate agent info?
Yes, yes. And it was a backup offer. And they accepted my backup offer, which I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it when they sent me the email that my offer has been approved, accepted.
And that was the house in Port St. Lucie on Parish, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
And then that's when I offered you the house, and we did the wholesale together.
All right. So I actually wholesaled that to one of my students, right, who was going to keep it as a rental.
And that was my first sale, and then I got we split the commission, I also got commission as a realtor, which is that. Just that commission paid off for all of my expenses to become a realtor. And
so key point to consider that not only the money made on that flip, which how much was that flip? Do you remember?
I think it was sold for about 120, 150.
Now what did you buy it for? Approximately.
I think we bought it at about 108.
108. Okay. Like so let's say the $12,000 profit on that, but in addition to that, you made another $3,000 or so in commission.
$3,000 in commission.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was your first deal, and that was off of Hubzu.
Exactly. So, and then a month later, another one. We got accepted another one from Hubzu again, up in Port St. Lucie.
Also in Port St. Lucie.
And
that was the one on Asbury that I ended up selling to my student Phil, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
And that was similar range, same size, same amount of money, more or less. And now things, it was natural. Things were easy. I had a feel of what pricing I should give a backup offer. I would not overbid or give a higher than is worth it, and then things seems like they're falling in place much.
And
easier.
you got a commission on that one as well.
Right.
All right. Okay, so then I know I got marked down here. After that, you wholesaled a deal down in Homestead. Was that also on Hubzu?
Exactly. So that was I think that one, it was like end of December, end of the year, and then
So basically, in a period of around, like, let's say September to December, you did 3 wholesale deals. And you picked up a commission on all 3 of them.
Right.
All right. Now I know you did a fix and flip in Miramar. So tell me a little bit about that.
Well, by doing those three wholesales, I was able to build a little capital. I had some capital, but not enough to go into and do a fix and flip. So that gave me a good boost there to have some cash money saved. And while I was trying to find wholesale deals, I ran into that Miramar deal, which was a newer house, 1990 built. And the only drawback to the other, I guess, buyers was that the person was still living in the house, although he had been evicted, he had moved out.
And that was a deal on Hubzu as well, right?
Exactly.
And I remember that because you were going back and forth trying to get the person to move out of the house.
So I got in good terms with that person, and we helped him actually, and I partnered with one of the other students from class, Patricia. So we helped him. We did not really, evicted him, although he was evicted and he was still moving there. We gave him a few more months to live in until we closed. And he was happy. He left the house, intact. He didn't cause any damage, and that was a good house because the return was pretty good.
What did you make on that house?
We split about $62,000.
Not too shabby. And that was your first fix and flip.
The first fix and flip, correct.
Okay.
And the good thing is, while I was working on that, down the street, on the same street, I see a 2-story house and a Hubzu sign one day. And
this is on Daffodil Lane,
on
right?
Daffodil Lane in Miramar, right.
So you're not even searching on a computer, you just happen to drive down the street and see the Hubzu sign.
And I said, how come I have not seen this? And I said, the Hubzu sign. And then I still had about a month or so to work to done on the first house on Daffodil. And I see people come and going, so they were looking at the property. I guess they were bidding on or they were putting offers. So I went and looked at it. It had a light fire. So it had some damage, and it was vacant for like 6 or 7 years. So the roof was leaking.
So it was a fire damage property.
It was light fire damage, but it was red tagged by the city. So that was the most important thing that scared people off. Everything had to be permitted, structural, mechanical, electrical, plumbing.
And that definitely scares away a lot of buyers. Yeah.
So when I was looking at it, it seems intimidating in the beginning, but then when I analyze it, I saw a potential. And
so it's pretty interesting how in a very short period of time you go from never having wholesaled a house to stepping into like a major rehab on a red tag property that's fire damaged.
So I went into Hubzu about 2 or 3 weeks after that, and I put a backup offer. So a couple of months went by and nothing had happened, and I was on contract of selling the first house down in Miramar. So we were waiting to close, and I got an email that my backup offer is accepted.
Wow.
So that's now I got a little scared because because I wasn't sure what I was gonna do. But then I thought it over. I said, all right, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it on my own. I'm not gonna get intimidated. So I calculated, I even put another 10 or 15% for overage, and everything fell in place. So the good thing is that I'm working on it now. I have pulled all of my permits, and about in another 2 months it's going to be finished. And the positive is that the prices have gone up in the area. Since my first sale, that was the highest sale of my first rehab there in the neighborhood.
So the other house on Daffodil was the highest sale, and this one?
It was the highest. It was higher by $25,000. So it brought the prices up. So houses that like the one I'm rehabbing now, they're much higher than what I thought originally. So that
happens in a market that's going up. Yeah.
Right. So that I think at the end is going to have a good $90,000 to $100,000 gain.
So that's what you're anticipating to make on this rehab, $90,000 to $100,000. Wow, that's some big numbers. Not too shabby. Yeah. Now, I know we're also doing another wholesale that's closing in a couple of days, right? And there's another property that I think you also got on Hubzu.
Hubzu,
I'll just call you the king of Hubzu, right?
Yes, I guess Hubzu.
We can find houses other ways too, not just on Hubzu, right? Although Hubzu seems to be working for you.
It has been working for me, and I don't know why, but it seems like I do backup offers, and then after a while they pick me, maybe because I seem like a solid buyer. Whatever I offer, they accept me, I buy it.
Well, I think that's very much an issue with Hubzu is that they look at the pattern, and if you close and they know you're a legitimate buyer, then they're going to go to you first.
Right. Plus, I think also see that I'm a realtor, so it's like shows a little more seriousness than somebody that maybe
just randomly bidding.
Right.
Yeah.
So it has worked okay for me, and and the current property that we're wholesaling now, we're closing about a week.
Yeah.
That's in Fort Pierce. I was tempted to. That has a good return. That has. It's a
I know
good
you were
rehab.
thinking about doing it as a rehab, and then you asked me how much I would loan, and then you were offering me it as a rehab,
Right.
and then in the end, someone called a fat deal sheet and went to the property, and we said, hey, let's just sell it to them. And what are you making, like 15,000 on that or something?
I will make about 10,000 with my commission.
No, but we're splitting that deal, right? Because I
Yes.
found the buyer on that deal.
Right. We're splitting. How much are we splitting? About 15,000.
And plus you get the commission.
Right,
yeah.
right. But the only reason I did not do it, that would leave a good $50,000 to $6,000 gain. It's the distance.
So why didn't you? Oh, I see.
It's 250 miles round trip from my home, and that's what.
far.
Yeah. So that's the only reason. Otherwise, I would do it.
Yeah.
I had calculated the prices. Have my crew going up there.
Okay.
So that's the only reason.
So. I know if somebody is watching this right now, let's say somebody is watching this as a brand new potential real estate investor thinking about getting involved in real estate. I know you probably said, well, get your real estate license, but what other tips would you give them?
If you do not know anything about real estate, or even if you know a little, which is more dangerous than not knowing anything, find somebody to help you. Find a guru, a teacher, a professor, somebody that has done it, and he has done those mistakes that you're gonna do, because you're gonna run into problems anyway, and you need somebody to help you. I remember I was texting you for stuff that I was running into with Habzu, and you tell me, you'll text me back, do this, or email me, John, do that, so it would work. So you need that somebody to go back and ask him, because there's always gonna be something that you're not gonna know. And I'm sure, even if you've been doing it for years, there's always new things coming into play. Okay. So I would suggest find somebody to guide you, to teach you.
So far you recommend get a real estate license and get a coach. What else would you say is important?
And the most important thing is family and friends and everybody that loves you. Once you tell them that you're going to do real estate, they're going to discourage you. They're going to tell you, no, you're not going to do it, you're going to fail. So you have to be persistent. Do not
now, why do you think that is, that people will give you negative feedback?
That's the nature of...
People are cynical by nature.
Yes, it's natural. Everybody in the beginning might even laugh at you. So you're either going to risk it and do it, or don't risk it. Don't do it at all.
So you actually, when you told people, I want to go and wholesale and flip houses, you actually had people that were laughing at you. Telling me like,
yes. If which is really, I don't really pay attention to what people think or say. But if I didn't, as I said, if I didn't have my wife's backup, probably I wouldn't do it, because somebody had to provide for the family. Right. But the good thing is, and thank God, is that I had that support, and I gave me the freedom 100% to do it. And I knew if I do it, I give my 100%, then I will succeed, and I will not have to, go back into sell my time.
Go back into IT or whatever, right? So basically, get a real estate license, get a coach. Don't listen to negative things that people around you tell you. And what else would you say?
And be persistent. Be persistent.
Persistence is key, guys, because a lot of people just start out, and when I started out in this business, I spent my first 5 months and I didn't get a deal, and I was working hard.
And very basic, which is not just real estate, with everything, just do little steps. Don't try to jump from one to another, because it's hard, and most of the time you will fail.
Yeah. All right, good. Well, so basically in that little period of time, you've wholesaled, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, plus 2 fix and flips. I'll say with 90 plus 60, it's safe to say you made about $200,000 in real estate, wholesale, and fix and flip.
Yes,
so not too shabby, right? Yes. So
much more than I would make in the IT world.
Right. So what would you do today if somebody came and said, "Hey, John, you can have that job, that IT job back"? I mean, you made a good living as an IT guy. So if somebody offered you tomorrow that job back, would you take it, or what would you say to them?
My job as a director, it would probably hit a ceiling at about $110,000, $105,000. I would not go back to it.
You wouldn't go back
to it? I would back to it,
yeah.
And I was very close to that number when I left. When I quit my job, but I would not go back.
Now, why would you not go back?
First of all, I would not have the freedom that I have.
Freedom of time? Or?
Freedom of time and freedom of execution, or of having the freedom of decision. I do not work for anybody else. I work for myself. And I could not, now I'm starting. You're just seeing little steps. I'm doing very little steps. But if I set up as I'm supposed to be set up, and with my knowledge that I have now and a little experience, which is getting better and better, I should be able to do maybe 5 or 6 fix and flips throughout the year.
Absolutely, you should, yeah.
So,
I'm sure you will.
So the numbers are going to be much higher than I could ever make in my field.
Yeah.
So,
all right, well, very nice. And well, thank you for coming in today and sharing your story, because there's a lot of people out there watching this who are thinking about getting into wholesaling or fixing and flipping, and they probably have family members that are giving them negative feedback. You know, so it's good to see a success story, someone like you who's actually going out there doing it. And if you're watching this, I mean, people like John are doing this. We've got, you know, thousands of students doing this, and only a fraction of them are able to be close enough to come in and share their story with you guys. But John, congratulations on your success. Thank you very much for coming in. And guys, you could be doing this too.